Let's move on to Nvidia. A report from the information detailing how Nvidia could build a cloud business that would rival the likes of Amazon Web Services. The chipmaker says it could generate $150 billion in revenue from software and cloud services in the long run. CEO Jensen Huang has said that cloud and AI software will be a very significant business over time, and the company is on pace to generate $2 billion annually from selling just software. If they did expand into the cloud business, that could be a huge headwind for Amazon, which has been the cloud giant in the room for so many years here. I believe Amazon Web Services makes up nearly 20% of Amazon's overall revenue, and a significant portion of that is in the cloud. They've had this sort of co-opetition relationship with Nvidia, so if they do start to eat their lunch, I can't wait to see the claws come out.
But Amazon wants to build its own AI chips, right? And eventually maybe not buy as many Nvidia chips. So it's interesting to see that kind of push and pull. And the other thing here, Maddie, that just fascinates me about this story is kind of the classic investor story of how a company grows as they give you a product, right? So Nvidia has built these very successful AI chips. Everyone wants them. How does Nvidia follow the customer through that journey, right? You think about Apple and iPhone, right? Apple gave us all of these great products. What did they eventually build out that's now one of the largest parts of their business, the services business, right? They continue to sell you things once you use the product and sort of go through that customer journey with you. NVIDIA's AI chips are a lot more complicated and a lot more B2B and a little bit different than that. But to me, I think it's a fair comparison to think about, okay, everyone bought our chips. How do we become a part of the next version of AI? We were talking earlier last hour about how there's sort of this shift from the infrastructure to what do we do with this? Cloud services is a huge, huge part of that next step. If Nvidia can actually eventually generate $150 billion in revenue off of this, then you start to talk about, okay, maybe AI chip demand isn't the entire part of the investor story, because I think for the large part of the last 18 months, it's been, well, what about when everyone has enough chips, right? And that's all the discussion's been. Maybe the discussion starts to shift a little bit if we continue to hear more about this on coming earnings calls.
And $150 billion, I believe AWS gets about $100 billion from its cloud business. So that would be them saying also, we think we're going to beat the biggest guy in the room here too, which is interesting moving forward. I just think it'll be fascinating to see. Nvidia, to your point, has kind of revolutionized itself multiple times already. They started as a video game chip maker. Now they're this AI giant. Will they also become a huge cloud player? They've got a lot of competition. So we'll see if they can pull it out.
They have a lot of competition in a lot of different spaces, right?
Yeah.
So if you have that chip competition that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks, maybe your solution is to zag a little bit and have other sources of revenue that can also pick up. So certainly not a tomorrow story, I wouldn't say, but something that is important to track, especially if you're considering holding Nvidia over the long run, and the movement past that chip story into other sources of revenue could be rather attractive.